Man has been building homes from the beginning of times, and these homes and structures have given a rise to the society, and these societies have created great civilizations. When we travel, what is that we actually see? We see monuments, we see buildings, and these buildings and monuments are the milestone of our history. They talk about our roots, they talk about our history, and they talk about the human achievement. Architecture shapes our aspiration, and it marks the collective human journey that we have traveled all these millennia. Very rarely we find programs in our television and social media about architecture or the built environment, but yet you do find a lot of shows on cookery and as well as on fashion. So there is a dearth of programs that showcase architecture. This documentary primarily exposes our viewers to the education of an architect, and thereafter his practice and what all an aspiring student. It exposes us to the multifaceted life of a designer. It's a story, and I call it Why Architecture.
It is not just a boring course, like there are no formulas, there are no textbooks, there is nothing. Every day is a new learning day for us, and it is field work, it is hands-on work, it is a lot of drawing and sketching. And
architecture is a very fun course. It is not a very theoretical course. It is very practical things we do. We make models, we do sketching, we do drafting. We don't have to buy at anything. It comes from inside. Everything is different. It's fun.
So architecture is all about model making. Not every time you need a pen and a paper to write, but sometimes you have to also make some 3D objects, make some enclosed things, figures, so that you can understand and you can make others understand better. This is a model from our site visit to Patalkot, where we were understanding the setting and the place, where we saw how contours work and how to build structures in contours.
During my education in architecture, I acquired a certain skills, and which were animation skills, and they helped me to create comics. These are certain comic books that I work on. Amar Katha, Tinkle, and Jump Up, and these are a few of those illustrations that I have been working on, and it helps me to become a great storyteller and a comic maker.
My father retired from Indian Army, and I had no background in architecture. But since I loved solving problems very passionately and creatively, I joined this field.
Same, my father was into HMRL, and he retired as a central government employee.
And our firm is winning so many awards in a very shorter span of time, and we are enjoying this field so much that you cannot imagine, and doing all the work, all the designing. Since architecture is a very creative field, you would love to be a part of it.
Yeah, and it is not like a work. It is more of a creative thing to do. And you get money for the same thing actually, for doing drawings, paintings, making models, making buildings. Hi, I'm architect Amay Shah. I pursued my bachelor's in architecture from Pune and then master's of architecture from Glasgow, Scotland. I am the founder of this company called Ghaziabad Labs Private Limited. Ghaziabad Labs is primarily an initiative that looks into affordable architecture in the rural spectrum of India. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to provide some basic information and design services on a platform through app and a website, and we also call ourselves as the first digital architect. Now the beauty of this is that even though I have practiced in a traditional space of architecture where it's designs of buildings and interior spaces, architecture is now opening up new possibilities when it comes to technology, when it comes to innovation. And moving ahead, I think this spectrum of architecture is going to diversify further. and there are going to be more niches that are going to be available for students at a wider level to venture into. So technology in the near future is going to play a big role in architecture is what we feel, and at Visava Labs we're trying to capitalize that and are heavily invested into research and innovation to kind of support that.
Pooja, if you look at it, India is building every year so much. I think there are new roads, bridges, airports, housing societies, tall buildings, everything is coming up. How do you see our next generation of students going to fit into this economy?
Actually, there's a lot of scope, right, for anyone who is studying architecture or design or any allied fields also. There is so much requirement to fit into this developing platform that our country is making available for them. There are not only low-cost housing, but there is, like you rightly said, roads, infrastructure, metro stations, just building our country.
Yeah.
That is where our students will fit.
Yeah, and I think India will probably continue to build for next 20, 30 years. Pooja, you're an educator. So do you think that architectural education allows a student after he graduates or she graduates to go into other diversified fields?
Why not, Ram? Definitely it allows them because they learn certain skill sets that can be applied to various different fields as well. For example, a UI UX designer. It's the same concept that is applied for an architecture plan to a UI UX plan.
Right.
The field of architecture is fast emerging and it's getting more and more diverse. Architecture and architectural teaching allows you a lot of exposure through foreign travel, through joint workshops. Architecture allows you the power to create and change the entire landscape of not just one city, but the world.
This is a digital fabrication lab which is used for prototyping experimental architecture, non-standard architecture. So what we essentially do is we use digital medium, computational medium to design, to analyze environmental simulations, structural simulations, and so many more things. And this particular facility is used as a prototyping facility.
I came from Amravati, a smaller place, and to do architecture in Pune. And I got settled here in Pune. In last 20 years, I have grown from nothing to building an empire where we have 100 architects, a team of 100 architects with us. Today we are doing projects of various magnitudes, right from a multimodal hub, which is going to be India's largest multimodal hub, to a lot of housing projects, a lot of commercial buildings, even for multinationals. Architecture opens a wide spectrum of options for you. I want to encourage parents and students to opt for architecture, especially from small towns.
I think it's a huge market. I think we are less of architects. I think pan-India, I think we are about more than 1.5 lakh short as far as architects are concerned. If we compare architects with the IT industry, the initial growth is very fast, but then you stop. But in architecture, initially it will be slow. If you give 5 years to your profession, then sky is the limit. Nobody can stop you. You can work till, like how Christopher is working, he's 81 and he's the master. So age is just a number, and you can have a nice practice, nice retired life. There is no other profession in this world as good as architecture. You can have a good profession, you can make a lot of money. If you're money oriented, you can. If you are not, you have social activities, you have colleges, you have other activities. So no other profession can give you so much as architecture can give you. But I think this thing should really catch up the new generation. 10 years back, we had sponsored the Mary Kom. She's the world 5 times world boxing champion, India gold medalist, and she wanted a sponsor for her first world championship.
What kind of projects are you involved in? How many years you've been in practice?
Oh, see, after my education in architecture, which I did it from Vidyanagar,
Yeah.
I shifted to Pune because my father introduced me to Osho Rajneesh for his meditation techniques.
Okay.
And I did not have much of a choice what to do in Ahmedabad after my graduation, so I took a plunge into world of meditation. And there's a Buddha field created by our master in Pune, and I became a sannyasi in there.
So one can sum it and say that if you want to have good life, you have to be a designer.
I see that truly that if you are a designer, you have a great life.
So architecture as a profession has a lot of scope, and we always explain architecture as a profession in this pendulum which is there. Where if you do a course of architecture on one side, you can move into the design professional stream. That is, you can do interior design, set design, furniture design, right up to graphic design. Whereas on the other side, you can go into the domain of landscape architecture, architectural conservation, urban planning, environmental planning, till building engineering and management. So this gives an opportunity for anyone who attains a basic degree of B.Arch to move into both these fields, because this right-hand side field is mostly with the engineers and social science graduates, where the left-hand side field is with design professional, and architect is only one kind of a course which gives you the opportunity to move into both of them. So this is a permanent exhibition of our institute which displays the work of students from first year to final year. And this work is done in terms of drawing. That first year when you do pencil drawings, and slowly it moves on to computer. Along with the drawings, we make a lot of models, study models and final models, which are displayed here. They are part of the study to understand the space requirements, understand the textures, understand the quality of the buildings. And these are all historic buildings. You can see the church there, you can see the Pune Mandai here. And as the years go by, these buildings start becoming complex. From a smaller house, you start seeing these buildings which are residential building, museums, etc., right up to the multi-story building that you see over there. So this is the level of complexity, and in 5 years, the students learn this. And this exhibition is open all the year, and parents come over here to see what architecture is all about, and it gives a window into architecture as to what the course is all about. Thank you.
Recently, I got the news that this only girls' college, what girls can make the miracle, and how they build a nation, how they represent India outside, is now we are 5th in the world. That recently, I just last week got the news.
Architecture is one of those unique professions which touch upon almost all facets of life, and it's a melting point of various disciplines such as humanities, technology, art, and therefore the students of architecture have a diverse future. So they can take up planning, they can take up conservation, landscape architecture, environment sustainability, environment planning, and so many aspects. And a country like India, which has a very bright future, and for next 20 years, the country is really going to grow big. There is a lot of opportunities for architects, not only in the core domain of building design, but also in the allied disciplines. So I think the country is in really need of very good architects and professionals who are trained as architects who can contribute in various domains of design.
An architect is like a music composer for an entire symphony orchestra. He controls all the disciplines, all the different various instruments, and he joins them all together and creates music. Similarly, we create architecture, which is beautiful and which impresses the entire world. Whatever is built is part of the architectural vocabulary.
Architecture is one of the 3 basic necessities of life. The first 2 being food and clothing. While we always remember the importance of food and clothing, we forget the importance of architecture. It forms the very basic of what we do. From the first breath to the last, we spend it in architecture, and it gives shape to our lives. But we forget the people who are behind that. Architecture is the face of our civilization, and it's the architects who are the executors of that face. We give shape to your world.